Hello and welcome to Lightning Lads Ringside Rants, where we share our unfiltered opinions. Please like and subscribe and enjoy.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. We got the boys here, James, Matt and Nathan. Just really bringing you what was an unreal weekend just gone in Coventry. So we're going to review all the games. So the first semi-final, obviously MK Leeds, who we will have the most eye on, and then the final. The boys are going to do the Swindon Peterborough game now on there, which was a cracking game, wasn't it?
Definitely. Like, Peterborough showed up, Slava Hockey coming and succeeding where it did last season, and I think they knew what they were doing. They had a hard fought first period and they just came out with blocks firing. All right, Nath.
Yeah, big time. I think the performance that they put in I'd say the whole game was outstanding. Really showed the quality that Peterborough have, but scoring the first two goals, making the playoffs exciting. What was it? I think it was 45 seconds or something into the game, and Salem's absolutely netted it.
Yeah.
It just really kind of shocked everyone, and I think then Peterborough just didn't lose momentum, carried on throughout the game, and got what they deserved, personally, I think. So
Yeah, I think, I'd say that first period, Swindon just couldn't get going. And I say, conceding in 45 seconds does not help.
You could definitely see it knocked that bit of momentum that they were gaining in the game. And they started off well from puck drop, they do alright, but then obviously 45 seconds later Peterborough have gone on and scored. But I don't know, it's quite hard because Swindon came in, I think they should have done a lot better than they did, but then you can't knock Peterborough for how well they just came out, and they would have beaten any team, I think, on how they played in that first game. But yeah,
I think it was a bit of a sort of nightmare start that's pending, I think, from what happened in the last playoffs against Leeds when they were really battered in that first period, and you can see that was evident. I think the way they started, they were a bit nervous as they go 2-0 down inside 11 minutes. Didn't help.
Showed character there.
They got back, didn't they? Yeah, they got it to 2-1 right at the end. Malazinski does what he does, doesn't he? He is a great player. So he gets it down to 2-1 going into the end of the first period. So rightly so, the start of the second, they come out with all guns blazing, didn't they?
Yeah, big time. I think, especially with Swindon scoring their second goal of the night, it definitely, pretty much gave them that bit more of a chance, gave them that bit more momentum going in, because that was the only goal that was scored in that period, which obviously it's not a bad period to kind of go in with a draw, try and push for the lead in the next period. But by the looks of what was happening, Peterborough obviously had that team talk. They wanted it that little bit more, and Nathan Salem come out and scored two more. But that game, I think he was absolutely unbelievable. Nobody could stop the shots that he was doing, because what was it? He had a hat-trick. That was the whole game.
Finished off with the empty net at the end.
And literally, I think, just unbeatable Peterborough in that first leg semi-final.
It was, I think the third period when it was going in there at 2-2, you thought the momentum was going with Swindon. I personally thought Swindon would have come back and actually get the job done, but Slava regrouped his boys, and they, as you say, Salem arguably could have been the MVP for the playoff weekend. 4 goals in total, but as I said, he really shown up when he needed to on there. But I mean, we go a bit backwards. We did get to the games very early on there, so to soak up the atmosphere of the Peterborough and Swindon fans. Thoroughly enjoyed our third, mine and Matt's first Coventry. But no, I thought that was a good taster going into what was our game, MK Leeds, wasn't it?
Yeah, I say, if the nerves weren't getting to us before the first game, they're definitely setting in when we're going into that one now. So
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I mean, it could have gone either way, especially knowing what Leeds did to us in the regular season to stop us winning the league. But yeah, as we go, we'll go into that now. The semi-final with Leeds and MK. But yeah, what a start that. I mean, arguably both teams made. I mean, we got off the front foot in scoring that first goal.
It is match of the weekend, arguably. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Agreed.
people would have liked to see this as the final,
Yeah.
especially with the drama of how it ended. But yeah, County got us going quite early on, set the tone, but Leeds obviously answered back really quickly on the power play, which we know they're lethal on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, luckily MK then answered again, and Lawrence got us back in the lead, and we went into that first intermission 2-1 up.
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
a huge kind of first period we had to get through just to like make sure that we knew we were in a game.
Yeah, no, it was huge going in. They get that second goal in leading into that first period is what the boys would want, is what Timmy Wallace would have wanted. But obviously doing that, Nath, we knew that Leeds were probably going to come out all guns blazing in the second.
Yeah, it happens every game, even throughout the league. You know what Leeds are like. They go in losing, they're going to come out fighting 100 times harder, better, quicker, and they tend to. And it came out with, they did score. They come out straight away. I think it was, 4 minutes into the next period that they
Bo
scored.
Neely, I think, wasn't it? Who's a very extremely good D-man, but he got the goal. And I don't even think he was on the power play.
No, I think it was
either,
normal,
which was just crazy to think he was that far up the ice. But once they equalised, we thought, oh no, here we go again. But then it was the Ross Vina show, scoring on the power play to make it 3-2, and then he scored again, didn't he? To make it 4-2.
Yeah, I think Max Stewart.
Yeah,
That was the match. Sorry, I'm looking
Stewart,
at jumping ahead of myself into the final on there. But
Sorry,
yeah,
it's been a long.
it's been a long day. We just jumped off of another podcast, which we will we'll go into at the end of the video. But so yeah, a bit wary. But yeah, we got that 4-2 lead in the end of getting into the second, and then we thought, well, it's daylight here, we might actually do it. And then Matty Hayward comes up and scores just before the
Leeds do
the
what
end.
Leeds do.
Yeah. So they come in, make it 4-3, don't they? And then that's going into the final period. That's when the nerves really start, doesn't it?
That's when I think the whole arena bums were squeaking, thinking that possibly we could do this in regulation. And it doesn't happen very often that teams beat Leeds in regulation, and unfortunately, I didn't happen this time. Asked my partner to pull her phone out and record it. 9 seconds left, it should have been gone, but no, we ended up scoring with 9 seconds left to go, and it was a very good goal, to be honest.
They set up really well. I mean, they pulled the keeper. Paul Gospel, probably a minute and a half, and at one point I was looking at it, I was saying to Matt when we were there, thinking they don't seem to be wanting to go up the ice, they were passing it back into the D, but obviously they did that for a reason and set up arguably maybe the goal of the weekend, the way they set it up, with the pressure they were on with the timer, and Kieran Brown sniping one on the, maybe even on the blue line, I can't remember if it was, but it must have been around that area.
Yeah, it was just in between, wasn't it?
And the amount of bodies that were in front of Headley, I don't think he had a chance, did he?
I mean, I think that can easily deflate the team, like that close to the end. I think usually it gives the team who scores a real boost, and going into overtime, I think we all thought, what's going to go here then? Is it Leeds just going to turn on
the afterburners?
And I think maybe if it was 3-on-3 overtime, then
it could
maybe,
have done. Yeah,
maybe they would have.
It could have been a whole different story.
The thing is, like 5-on-5 for 10 minutes, it played back into our hands a little bit.
But of course, we were 5-on-4 for 2 minutes of that, and I was like, that. I mean, wow, that was probably the best penalty kill that you could ask for, isn't it? We really stopped them. But yeah, that was really nervy. But to kill the penalty and then to go up the other end, and Dylan Lawrence sort of glides round gospel and slips at the same time and just puts it between the legs. And that's
What you want.
absolute scenes, wasn't it?
I don't think I've ever heard Milton Keynes fans so loud in my life.
No, it was
Sellout games at our barn, but that was unbelievable. I think everything about just that moment really shone for everyone. And I think personally we played the best we played all season.
Oh yeah.
I think it was thoroughly deserved.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Leeds, obviously it didn't go their way, but I think personally the better team won on the night.
Yeah.
But I can't complain.
It didn't give Leeds a lead throughout the whole game, which I think is crucial because they play with all Leeds so well. So yeah, I think we nullified that threat and managed to get that crucial
100%.
overtime winner.
Yeah, no, we were on it. We never really let Leeds dominate us. As you said, we thoroughly deserved to win. I think shout out to our special teams. Going into Coventry, we had one of the worst, sort of, from the power play goals perspective and the penalty killing, and to get, I think, almost like 75% on a lot of it. I mean, it was, wow. I mean, they turned it up, and on both games actually, they turned it up, and it was just phenomenal, wasn't it, to watch them?
Great to see.
Finally it all working.
To put it in perspective, MK had 3 power plays and we scored twice.
So
I think that's some of the best power plays we've had and some of the best penalty kill we've had all season.
I think Leeds had 4 in power plays and scored 1.
Yeah.
So to have Leeds narrowed down to one goal out of 4 is power plays is quite amazing. Unheard of, isn't it? Really,
considering how lethal they've been in the playoffs, basically scoring every other time.
Yes,
It's just ridiculous.
And I think massive shout out. Obviously, we all know Malik Martelli, man of the match of that game.
Yeah,
absolutely outstanding again. He's just getting better and better and better. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams looking at him now, especially after those performances in the playoffs. Thoroughly deserved man of the match.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like all in. I think team performance excellent.
Best I've seen for a long time.
100%.
Put full 60-minute effort in and then some.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, the determination to sort of flick off the shoulder of the Brown goal and 9 seconds to go to then regroup and do what they did. I mean, as we said earlier, a lot of teams would have just faltered and fell apart, but we stuck together, the game plan worked, and I think we thoroughly deserved it. And once we got to Coventry, I don't think it was nothing stopping us by what it looked like anyway.
There was one aim, and that one aim was to get what we'll talk about in a minute, really.
Well, I'll say the team popped their heads into the celebrations after the game, and speaking to a couple of the players, they're like, we can't go too crazy now. We need to focus on tomorrow, and that's exactly the attitude you want.
Yeah, the job's not done.
They knew the job wasn't done. They needed to get it done on the Sunday.
And that brings us nicely on to Sunday's game in the cup final, playoff final. Wow, I mean, again, you're looking at Peterborough making the final, and you're thinking, it's not the team necessarily you want to play. Your local rivals. Slava setting up his Peterborough sides, as we all know, he did it the year before, beating Telford in the semis and then beating Leeds at the shootout. So for us to be surprisingly come out really buzzing, I think that sort of is the extension of the Saturday game.
I think they took a lot of momentum from that overtime win into the first period, and really just dominated that first period and
100%.
got amongst it. And our captain getting the first goal and really getting
everyone on that ice, Griffin.
On the power play, no less.
Yeah, he took it really well. I think he just turned around and there you go, backhanded it straight into
Didn't realise he was such a good forward.
No, it was great. Happy to have Griff. I mean, it's his testimonial year. His testimony's on Saturday. So shout out to anyone that's going. So unfortunately we're not. We're all working away, but that would be a great spectacle to see him bag that first goal. Is that was the icing on the cake.
Come on,
something for the memory books. That one,
it was for sure,
with Griff opening.
And then it's like, if that defender can do it, then
Yeah.
another one steps up and Ben Solder
Ben Solder.
goes and smashes one in from the blue line.
Yeah, he's done that a few times.
Solds has got a good shot
he's
on
very
him,
good.
to be fair. It's very underrated, his shot.
Yeah, big time.
In a big 2-0, we sat in there looking at each other thinking, blimey, this is
happening.
This is happening here.
we go.
We
And then Nathan Salem decided to just make sure that we were a little bit nervy for a little
keep
bit.
us on our toes. I think that was a power play goal,
I
wasn't
think
it?
it was, yeah.
So Salem, you can't give him that sort of room on the power play, and he
What
did
weekend he has.
Yeah.
He has.
4 goals. Yeah, 4 goals. He's phenomenal in that sort of pressured game. And then I believe County scores again before the end of the first to make it 3-1, going in there with a 2-goal lead.
Yeah.
We know from Saturday's game, Leeds, when we had a 2-goal lead, that's a dangerous scoreline, isn't it, to be 2 goals ahead?
It can be.
Massively, and I think we've seen that as well in the league this year. You could be 3 goals up, 4 goals up, and 20 minutes is a long time. Teams can come back.
Even MK, 4 goals up against Raiders in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then they come back and got to 7-7 somehow.
So we were quietly confident, weren't we? Looking at that, but and then leading to the second, that's when we put the afterburners on.
Definitely got a talking to in that changing room.
Yeah.
Push was obviously what was said.
Yeah.
Make sure that everyone comes out fighting like we did in the first, show what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then power play goal, Venus. Absolutely outstanding. And then not long afterwards, we get a penalty. One of our players in the box, can't remember who it was. Venus goes and scores a short-handed goal.
And he takes it around.
The whole crowd just
that moment.
On that.
We can see it. We can picture it now, like it was about 5 minutes ago. Him on his own, past the middle ice, straight into the blue line, dances around Levine and puts it in, and it's slow motion, isn't it? The scenes were just...
It was like a Mexican wave of MK.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? We were all standing up in sort of unison on there, and to be then 5-1, going into... was that 5? Yes, 5. So I lost the track now. Yeah, 5-1 going into the third. I mean, I will say, I'll probably be guilty to say this, but I said to Matt, that's game over. I know that was wishful thinking.
Because we've thrown away those kind of leads before.
Yeah, but I think the way we were playing, we would have to play worse and a lot worse than we were doing, and Peterborough had to really step it up. And they gave it a go in the third. They really did. But then we go and score the empty net goal. Harry Gulliver, the man with many celebrations, goes and bags it.
Absolute legend.
Absolute legend. And 6-1. And as I said, it was then an after party from many hours after that.
Big time. I think with obviously the win, obviously everyone stayed there. They did the trophy. They did everything. Everyone was celebrating, singing, chanting. And then they ended up going back to Milton Keynes to see the fans that obviously couldn't make it, couldn't get tickets, or just unfortunately couldn't travel.
Really nice touch that. I mean, that for do something last minute for the boys to do that, it just shows how good the club is and how close the whole club is, from the top to the fans to the supporters club, who do an absolute amazing job.
Absolutely amazing.
I think they made well over £100,000 for the club. Which is the reason why we signed Forsberg. So, I mean, shout out to the club and to the team for doing that after the game, for sure. Obviously, there's a couple of shout outs as well for Jordan Headley.
I'm thinking we've gone through this whole review of the game and not said anything about Headley's amazing performance.
The performance and that save
in that game.
I would say kept us in the actual game
itself.
itself.
That first
There's
period.
some saves in there, but it's like, how did you do that?
I mean, we were speaking to a few other people. Obviously, we spoke to on another podcast a minute ago, and he had the whole goal to aim at Ferrara, and it was Headley just come out of nowhere like Superman and just battered it away. And I think the whole weekend he finished on a 9.24 percentage, but against Peterborough in the final 9.54 shows how
crazy.
That's one of the best net minding performances I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I bet you'd second that as well. It's just, he was absolutely outstanding. I think the role he played in us winning the cup is mega, and I think that save, like you said, James, definitely showed what kind of game he was coming to play, and it really gave all the players on the ice that bit of, right, he's ready for it, we're now ready for it, let's have it.
And the fans really got behind after that save.
Got behind him, his chant was coming
Here he
out.
is.
And
let's go.
Let's have it.
You got to look as well after the first playoff weekend. It was tough for him. I mean, he would admit it himself. He didn't play his best. He gets pulled in the first game, gets dropped in the second, and for the 2 games against Swindon as well. To come back from Sheffield onwards, he's been phenomenal. So big shout out for Jordan as well. But I think that covers most of that. Is there anything else you guys would like to add to that weekend?
I think just the whole, with how we played, I hope going into next season we can keep the majority of the team we have. I think the morale's quality, I think the players are quality, and I definitely just feel like we've now, yes, it's now come to the end of the season, but I definitely feel like we actually feel like a team, not just a team of individuals. But I think together this team could be league winners next year. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
Can't say, but I think with how they played in the playoffs, we
that's got to give them a lot of confidence if they can keep the squad together, as you say. They got to be eyeing up the title next
100%.
season.
We need more silverware.
Yeah. But no,
back-to-back silverware seasons.
That'd be lovely.
So.
Yeah, keep it going.
Yeah.
So we'll be watching out on all the signings and the outgoings, incomings, all the different things, especially with Basingstoke building a whole new team. That'll be interesting to see.
Very exciting for that.
Very buzzing to see all that. So we will be jumping on mainly on posts on social media. We will try and do the odd video here and there in the off season. But it'll be few and far between because obviously there's not a lot to talk about other than something we can post, but we'll try and do that. Obviously we'll be bigger and better next year. We get a lot more equipment. Obviously we Mason behind the scenes. He's almost our production manager, doing a cracking job every day, making it bigger and better for us.
We're still fine-tuning things.
Things. We're still new to this, so obviously these videos aren't going to be perfect, but obviously we will look back at this video sort of in a year's time, and what we will do will be completely better. There's no two ways about it. We're all great friends. We all love hockey, and that's what we all strive to do is to bring you guys the content that you deserve. And obviously, as we're on that, big shout out to Eye on the Tigers, Matt, that we were just on his podcast. Give him a follow on social media. The video he did with us earlier on today will be on his socials on 7 o'clock tomorrow, and that's on YouTube. He'll post it on Facebook. So Eye on the Tigers, Matt, fantastic guy. Thank you very much for having us on your show. And that rolls up for this video today. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate support. Obviously continue to like the video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and we'll see you guys soon.
Have a good summer.
Take care.